Hi everyone, Shell here, Shell's Nails. I have, what do I have? I don't have anything. That's a great start, cracking start, Michelle. Right, so I've done these nails, I'm going to do these nails. These nails are based on a set that I did a long time ago. I'll probably put a picture in, and I absolutely love them. And this is how I used to do my nails back in the day, when I could file them. And I have tried doing my nails this time, and I've tried using the e-file because obviously I'm more used to using the e-file now, but I did find it difficult because I really do like to hand file. So as you can see through the gloves, these are blingy, but yeah, we'll get to it anyway. So I'm going to start off, because I haven't washed my hands or anything, I'm going to use some what do you call it, yeah, acetone. I'm just going to use some acetone just to give them a bit of a clean, because I may have hand cream or whatever on them. See, it's starting to stick to me because it will melt the top of it a bit. You can use alcohol if you want, if you don't want to melt the top of your nail, but it's matterless to me because we're going to put some of this on. So there we are. So that's them clean. Or you can clean them with alcohol, whatever you want. I just want to make sure, absolutely sure, that there's no cream on them, because I've been using quite a strong hand cream, thick, moisturizer, because my hands are so dry. Right, then I'm going to use this, which is a primer, because I don't want these nails to get bulky. I think I'll just do one nail at a time with the primer, because I end up sticking it to things. I can't remember. Oh yeah, right. I was going to struggle to remember what I was doing there. This is Madam Glam. If you don't know, I've got a 40% off code at the minute. Use it or lose it, because it won't last forever. Or you can join the VIP, whichever you prefer. And anyway, this is what I'm going to use. So this is the Glitter Nude Builder Gel. And which brush am I going to use? Is it that one? No, it's the thinner one. This one. I've got several brushes out because depending on what I'm doing. So I'm going to use this one. And this is just an AliExpress one, but it's just a little brush. Let's get some gel on that, so it's nice and flat and ready. Right, where's my little brush thing? Here we are. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some pointed nail beds. So I'm basically going to draw the outline, and hopefully I'll zoom in for you so you can see better, but I'm going to keep my hand down here where it's just the right length, well, the right distance away from my eyes, because otherwise I won't can see what I'm doing. So we're just going to draw a point. I think we'll take it to about there. And the reason that I'm doing it with this little brush is because I can get it exactly where I want it, and then I can fill it in a little bit with the bigger brush, if you know what I mean. So I don't want too much, and I don't obviously want it running down the sides. This is just my way of doing it, because when I put the next bit on, it'll basically go to where the gel is. Should do it just the end of there, and then we'll get a little bit here. Try not to get it on my skin. And then we'll use the other one just to fill it in a bit. There we go. And then we're going to get a big bit. Now gel follows gel, so if there's no gel on this bit or this bit of my nail, this should just stay in the middle where you want it. And what we're doing is we're building a wall. If you've never done this sort of thing before, just take your time. You can use a little bit at a time if you want. I've just gone in with a bigger bead because I want it done in one. And then just bring it to the point. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to file it. And it should self-level. So that's self-leveled nicely. Got a little bit of a bump to file. It's almost in the middle. We can correct that a little bit with filing. So yeah, so we'll give that a quick cure. I'm going to do these two. Now these two, this is what people call a slip layer. So with your slip layer, you do not want to get it anywhere near your skin, right? Because as I said, gel follows gel. So if you've got a nice clear perimeter around that nail and you haven't touched your skin at all, the gel won't it won't run past this gel. I mean, it will if you put big lumps on, but on the whole, that's the same with your base coat. If you base coat your nails, just be extra careful with your base coat. So that's kind of a slip layer. So can you see how, a minute, bit of dry skin there, right, get off your bother. So you can see here I haven't quite gone to the edge of the nail, and that's just because I don't need to. So I'm gonna get a nice big scoop. In fact, I should have been using the bigger brush, but hey ho. And then I kind of wiggle it till I get it off my brush, and then I start to sort of pillow it. If you get any bubbles, just stretch them. But you can do this in 2 or 3 layers if you want, so you're not using as much gel, because the more gel you use, it'll heat up in the lamp. So you can use your low heat setting if you're using a big blob like this. But I find the Madam Glam doesn't actually heat up that much. So I'll keep it I'm keeping it in the middle. And I'm just going to gently pull it down the nail. And then go up the sides. Just bring it down a bit. And then along the other side. Have a look at it from the top. No, it's hard to see with my gloves. Look at your shape. Just make sure you got it down the sides. Don't worry too much because you can file it, and then you can put your hand upside down for a few minutes. Well, not for a few minutes, for, 30 seconds or so. And what it does is it pulls everything into the right position. See how it's gone bigger there? So I'm just going to pull it down a little bit so that it's a nice arc. And then in here you've got your strength. Just make sure you got it down the edges, which we have. Just down that one. There we go. And just make sure you haven't got any on your skin. I'm going to put my hand that way because it's pulling over this side a little bit. So just use gravity to help. And then That's not bad. Get that shin the lip. Just going to give it another second on the side there. That's it. There we go. And I normally give it 20-30 seconds before I move on to the next nail. If it was clear, it would cure a bit quicker, but because this is pink, it needs time to cure through. You know, the light's got to penetrate it, hasn't it? So, yeah. So, how is everybody? Are we all right? Are we all doing okay? I hope so. It'll soon be Crimbo, won't it? I managed to buy a 2024 calendar the other day. Yep, you heard it right. 2024 calendar. I'm still going to show you it because I'm not sending it back. So, never mind. Hey ho. It's just a little one. I was looking for a little... Obviously, I didn't buy the Madame Glam one this year. I don't know. I liked what was in it. Don't get me wrong. But if I had the choice between spending money on the calendar or a collection, I decided to use me, because I'm a VIP where I pay $29 a month, or I think it's £22 something or £23 something in the UK. Can you see how there's just a little bit there that's not shiny, and that just gives you a little bit of wriggle room just in case. These are full cover tips. I think these are, I got these from Bone Pretty. I don't think they're available anymore, but I'll tell you what I have done. I've chosen, I normally wear, because I've got quite curved nail beds, I normally wear sculpted tips. So when you're putting the sculpted on, there's plenty room in between to get lots of gel on to add them, you know, to attach them to your nails. But what I've done is I've chosen, because I knew I was going to be building these nails up. Need some more gel. Because I knew I was going to be building these nails up, I put nail tips on, full cover tips on that are a bit flatter. I hope that makes sense, because I'm building the strength as I'm doing the nail. Just pull that down like that. Get the excess off, and then you're just going to tease it. Just attach your brush again and just tease it. You can do it with a little liner brush if you want, and just tease it down. And then I'm just going to push that back up, because you don't want too much here. So that's not bad, that's pretty good. I'm just going to flip it upside down for a couple of seconds. Have a quick look. So again, because I'm holding my hand, yes, see, I guess. Well, that was a happy accident, because the gel is actually pooling on this side because of the way I'm holding my hand. Get that off there. So yeah, so it's a little, yeah. So that's why I'm holding my hand like that, so that the gel will move to the middle. And then that's it there. That's not bad. Like I say, that's what the little brush is for. It's ideal for just going around the edges, rather than trying to get round the edges and the cuticle with a big brush. I just find it easier. Right, we'll get these cured, and then I'll show you a little bit of filing. Right, I've got my dust collector. So you want some IPA, get rid of the tacky layer on all of these. If you're new to nails and new to my channel, hello, how are you? Nice to have you. If you are new to nails and you don't know, whenever you use gels or builder gels, you know, poly gel, any kind of gel that you cure, it always has an inhibition layer, so it'll always be tacky after you've applied it. That's normal. It's not because you haven't cured it properly. Back in the day, I thought it was because it wasn't curing properly, so I bought another lamp and you know, went down a whole rabbit hole. But now I know this will be noisy, but I do want to be able to speak at the same time, so it's not too noisy, this one. This is the Credio one. So basically you're going to, where is it? I'm using a metal file, the ones that you stick the things on. This is an old one. I never do my nails with a new file. Rarely do my nails with a new file because you're going to, you know, make sure you do the edges. Obviously you go around the edges. Any nail file that you get that's new, you go around the edges. That's a bit newer with the Madam Glam one. But this one's got a metal so it doesn't bend. Whereas if I use that one, it might bend a bit. So I won't get a straight line. So I'm just going to push it up against this. Try not to push it down because then you're cutting into the nail. Just try and do a little bit of an edge. What you can do is you can push into it that way so you get it nice and straight on the bottom. But as I say, try not to push down too hard. You're pushing that way rather than that way, and you just get the little pointy bit. So you're basically building a little wall. See how I'm hitting that there, so you don't want to be using a new file because otherwise you'll clip that. You'll cut yourself basically. You just take the time. Once you've done it a few little passes by, you'll have a little bit of a groove to get in. And this doesn't need to be too high because you're just creating that little, just a little nail bed because it's a full cover tip anyway, so it should be pretty good. Again, you need to file in a little bit, just file in a little bit. It's a bit awkward when I'm trying to show you as well. Because my fingers hurt when I... So as you can see there, it's got a bit of a wall. And same on that side, it's got a bit of a wall. So that's that one. So this one, the first thing I would do is go up the side. And just go in a little bit. So get into the side, and then in a little bit. Into the side, in a little bit. Same on this side, keep it straight, and then in a little bit. Straight, and then in a little bit. And you're just creating a nice little curve at the sides and thinning it out. Like that. Then I would do the edge. The same, get it nice and straight. Nice and straight. Bring it in. And then normally I would go over the top like so to thin it out. And then I would go around the cuticle. Again, I never ever use a new file. I always use an old file around the cuticles. This is, as you can see, an old file. If you buy decent files, they will last you a long time. I mean, I do have cheap files, but I find that these last me, the Neo lasts me a long time. Madam Glam's a new one. I've not had Madam Glam's before, and that one's really good. So I do like that one. But if I was to recommend a 180 file, it would be Neo. If you want a recommendation for a 100 grit file, that would be the Dorota Pliska ones, the Nail Perfect ones. They're the 100 grit files are lovely. They last a long time if you just give them give yourself a pump of IPA and go over them. So that's not bad. So as you can see, we've got a nice shape. We just need to file this down a little bit, but you get the general idea. But this, doing that bit like that, it just thins the front out. It thins that down. That's how I would file my stilettos, like so. Okay, so I'll do the rest of the filing and I shall be back. Okay, so there they are filed. I didn't file over the top, I just filed the sides, because we're going to file over the top when we've done them properly. Right, so you think you've got a nice shape there. Nice apex in the right place, your strength. And this will be strengthened here by the time I put the other gels on. So I'm going to show you on the thumb what we're going to do next. I want a thin base coat. So this is just so that the next thing I put on, the next polish I put on, will adhere to my nail. We'll just do one at a time, so get that nuked. Right, so I've got these two xeijayi, CGs, however you want to pronounce it. I've got a black cat eye and a pink cat eye. So put them out the way. Got them on here. And because my room is cold, I've added a little tiny bit of top coat because these were quite thick. So they're not so bad now. The black I'm not going to be using a lot of anyway, so I'm going to use the black along the line. So you're just outlining that diamond really. Oh, don't know what that was. There you go. And then you're going to just take it up the side of your wall and just a little bit over the top. Because when we've filled this part in, we'll be filing that down and then you'll have a nice line. So even if your wall's a little bit off, I'm using my fingers just to balance, just to get that up there a bit more, because I want that to be a nice line. There we go, that should do it. Here we go. So, looks all right. And then we are going to light it up. So up and down one side, as soon as you see it lighten up, scooch over to the other side and get the zhuzh, as they say. It's hard to tell on the black. I have to fiddle with it a little bit. That's it. Right, that'll do. We'll just give that 10 seconds and then we'll use the pink on the other part of the nail. That'll do. So I'm going to bring the pink up there Don't worry about this too much because you're going to be putting glitter on. Well, I am going to be putting glitter on, so I'm not going to worry about this too much. I just want to make sure I get it right the way along the edge, just for a bit of a background for the glitter. But you could leave this clear if you wanted. You'd have to be a bit neater with the black, obviously. But you can leave these clear, and they look lovely when they're clear. I probably should have wished I'd left one clear now, but never mind. Too late now. There we go. Just make sure I haven't missed any bits. On the edge. And then I'm going to zhuzh it up. As soon as you can see it there, swap over to the other side. And that lights up beautifully. Here we are. Very nice. So we'll give that a full cure and then I shall be back. Right, so we've got them painted. I'm using the Born Pretty because it's thin. I don't want to add bulk because I'm going to encapsulate it anyway. So we'll just want some base coat on because we're going to put some glitter on. And you're going to need something for it to stick to. Don't worry about this looking messy. That all sorts itself out in a minute. Get this out of the bag. So this is called Bittersweet. I think this was in the September or October VIP. It is gorgeous. Where's my pot? Is that it? Yep. I should have done this before I put base coat on my nail, but hey ho. Don't need loads. I've learned over the years that less is more. Now when you've got a glitter that's got larger particles and smaller particles, I tip it and I tap it. And then you get all the larger particles at one side and you get all the fine stuff at this side. So you can choose which you pick up. And I've got an old ombre brush. This is just off AliExpress. And then I'm just going to dab it into the gel. And then I'm going to pick the bigger bits up first. There we go. Because we still want that cat eye to shine through, but you can see it on this nail corner. But yeah, so, and then I'm going to get the finer stuff. I'm just going to dab it in between. That should do it. So just make sure there's none hanging off the end. If there's anywhere where you think it needs a couple of more bits, just add a couple of bits. Whatever, however much you want to add is purely personal preference. Just want a few bits up there. I will end up filing through some of it anyway, but it doesn't matter. It's all good in the herd. Just a little bit on the end there. There we go. So that is that one. So I'm going to do the same with these two and cure them, and I shall be back. Right. Straighten you up a bit. Right, now we're going to encapsulate the glitter. So I'm going to use the extension nail gel from Born Pretty. This is the clear. It's a really nice clear. Some clears aren't very clear. I don't have the Madam Glam, else I would use the Madam Glam because this is Madam Glam, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to take a bit on my brush, and you will get bits of glitter, so you'll have to get me wipe ready. You might have to wipe your brush before you put it back in, but I'm going to just go along the edge and put that slip layer on, as it were. Like we did when we did the full nail. If there's anything that doesn't make sense, please feel free to ask us in the comments. So then we've got a slip layer, so now we're going to get a big bit. If you're not confident with your gel, just use a little bit at a time. You can use builder in a bottle if you find that easier. So I'm basically going to dump as much as I can on that side. Take it down the edge and then dump the rest on the other side. Come on, you wee timorous beastie. That end. If you feel it's running away from you, just tip your hand upside down and it'll bring it back to the middle. Just make sure you're encapsulating that glitter schmitter. So I'm just going to hold it upside down, and what I sometimes do is I move it about with the brush, but actually it's not too bad, and we are going to file it anyway, so that's not too bad. It's by the time we file that down, it should be okie cokey. So I've got me e-file, which is the Katie Barnes. This is just a medium. Doesn't matter if you file any of the glitter off. It's just easier to get rid of the bulk with this from your hands. As you file the bulk down, you'll see that you get a line. You see? Now, I know you're supposed to anchor your hand on there, but I actually find that quite painful, so I'm just leaning on this. I wouldn't do it up in the air like that, just in case anybody's wondering. And would I recommend the Katie Barnes? Absolutely. The one I bought is the one where you get the e-file course. I've done the course, but I didn't do the you know, the qualification, because I only use it for me, so I could have done it, but I didn't want to. So let me just get a bit of IP on my brush and just give you a look at that. So you see how it's lined the nail bed, and we've got a nice shape going on. And just do the rest with a hand file. Just get rid of some of this bulk. The sides out. And this is why I've got, I will need to put some more on there. I'll tell you what I didn't do is, these nails, I didn't file the tips. So I totally forgot to do that. Normally I would thin the tips out before I put gel on, and I forgot to do that. So what I'll end up doing is I'll probably paint a little bit of the coloured gel onto there, pop a little bit of glitter on before I top coat it. So that's how I would fix that. So if you file through your glitter, that's the way to fix it. This bit's difficult to show you. Again, I like to go from the middle to the front. Get rid of that bulk down the front. You see we've got nice proportions. Just need to thin that out. Can't believe I forgot to file the tips. Never mind. Shit happens. At least you know how to correct it. And it doesn't matter if you file through the glitter, it's not the end of the world, because you just add some more before you top coat. That's what I would do anyway. So then you've got that really pretty nail bed under there. And then you've got a nice line how it's made it look. That could be a bit more pointed, couldn't it? But we've got a nice shape there. And on the sides we'll just add a little bit more of the polish and a little bit of glitter to straighten it up. You could even put a line here if you wanted to with these, but I'm going to put gems round. As you can see, these have got covered in gems, so I'm not worried about that looking too straight. So I'll file the rest of these and I shall be back. Right, okay. This is the time when you've cleaned them up and you've had a look at them. You can see that's shiny. That's because I've put a little bit more, you know, I've filled in the places that I've overfiled basically. So yeah, you can see this is the time to fix anything that you want to fix. Okay, I'm not going to worry too much about this bit because they're going to have gems around anyway. So I'm going to paint onto these ones. I'm going to try and get some of this out. This is a mirror to get out because it's quite thick. Should do it. And I'm going to thin it down a little bit with top coat. You can use base coat if you want. I like to use top coat, but I use a thin top coat, which is the Born Pretty one's the thinnest for me anyway. Born Pretty is my favourite, but it's not thick, the Born Pretty one, so that's why I use it to. I'll just put one drop. Boop. And the same in that one. Boop. You can do that with your gel paints if you need to. Just if you find that it's cold or they've gone a little bit thick, just put a little bit of base coat or top coat in. I find that they move a bit easier. So then I'm not going to mix it in with that. Where is it? Where's me doofer? Where's me doofer? Me handy dandy doofer. Everything's covered in bloody dust now. Normally when I do my nails, when I've finished filing, I dust. Yeah, I know I'm a fanny. But I mean, I cover everything up normally. But of course, when you're filming, you forget, don't you? And you just do it. And then I looked round and I thought, oh, there's dust everywhere. So that is that one. All mixed in. And then this one. When I'm mixing it, I'm just trying to get it all in the middle. Make my life a bit easier. And again, clean my little doofer. What am I going to do first? I can't remember what I did on the other nail, so we're just going to make sure it as we go along. Did I use a longer brush? I can't remember. I need to... Where's my file? I just need to file the edge of that because it's not... Right. I think we'll do this one because it looks nice and even. So I'm going to have a little bit of a... I should have used a longer brush, but never mind. Just want a little bit of a point. What's this called? A diagonal French or something. And once I've got a line, just fill it in a little bit. And then I can play with the edge to get it where I... And take it up as far as you can. Don't think that's too bad. And then we'll light it up. Go. It is hard to show you that, can't I? Give it 10 seconds. And then I'm going to outline it. Where's my other handy dandy brush? So this one I used on the other hand. So I'm just going to make sure it's all, the whole brush is covered. Because I want a nice thin line. That'll do. So I'm going to try and get a line down the edge of that, and I'm just going to go over the end bit and wipe the end bit off. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So I'm just crossing it at the bottom because it's easier to wipe it off than it is to try and stop exactly in the right place. And make sure you've got it up the top. I think that will do. And then I am just going to take, let's see, I've got my little silicone tool. Just going to give it a little clean, just in case I've got any other gel polish on it. I'm just going to wipe that off. Again, make sure it's clean. I'm going to push any gel back towards the line, just so that we end up with a nice little point. And that should do that. There we are. It's a little bit wonky, but hey ho. Once your nails are all done, you don't really see all the little... Hopefully people will be too busy going, ooh. 10 seconds. And then I'm going to do a bit in the middle with the black. Hello. So I'm going to mark it mark the middle, and then just roughly put it where I think it should be. I think these are sort of Art Deco-y, I think that's what they remind me of anyway. I think that will probably do. Just push that side in just a little bit. That's it. I'm going to use this Vendini 4-in-1 hard top coat. So this you can put on and it won't have a tacky layer. There, I put my gel brush. That's the one. So this is quite liquidy, so I'm not going to put too much on, but this is like it's like the Bling It gel, and it is super shiny. The only thing is this nail's a bit wonky donkey, isn't it? So that's not going to help, but never mind. Right. There we go. That's that on. Now the only thing is when you use this, stuff moves around. So you have to keep moving it back into place. So it just depends if you can be... turn over one, will you? Right, so get a couple of these at the back. One in the middle. One in there. You see what I mean? It's moving already. Probably should have put that on last. And then we're going to take these ones and put them down the edge. So 2 there, 2 there. We'll move them around to where we want them shortly. 2. 1, 2. What am I doing over there? Stupid woman. It's because my gems are over there, sorry. So gonna need more gems. Small one. I think I must have mixed these up a bit. Never mind, shit happens. And 2 big ones, 2 medium ones, and then 2 of the smaller ones, which don't want to turn over for me to pick them up. 2, 2, and 1, 2, 1, 2. back a bit, and then we're going to have one of those ones in the middle, and then we'll get some caviar beads on. I shall use this. Could be here a while. I'll probably skip through this bit. Right, now I've got everything more or less where I want it. You've just got to fiddle with it. And I've just pushed them down a little bit so that I can see a bit of that black line. And I've got the caviar beads on, so that's it there. I'm going to get that shit in the lamp. Get that off there. So that is that one. So I shall do the rest on this one and this one, and then I'll be back. Alright, so there we go. That's them all done. Put some hand cream on and some cuticle oil. Lots of bling. The Bling It gel's really good. Oh, I've used the Bling It gel on these two, and I wish I'd used proper top coat like I did on those two, so you can see they're smoother. But hey ho, that's slightly different. Don't have to be the same. But this, look at that under there. It's just so pretty, that nail bed from Madame Glam. Gorgeous, isn't it? Obviously the cat eye. I mean, I could have used Madame Glam cat eye to be fair, but I had the XJs out anyway, so look at the sparkles. Beautiful. So I'll link everything that I can in the description. If there isn't a link there, it's probably because I can't find it. But yeah, but that's them there anyway. I hope you enjoyed them. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell, ding-a-ling-ling. Doesn't actually make a noise, but it will tell you what when I upload. I'll see you lovely lot in the next one. Bye bye. Bye bye.